Alright, hello there YouTube. This is gonna be another episode of Savvy's lecture time called this one's gonna be rotating. So we went over, the offensive things like pushing, slow play getting rotate, slow play flanking, and all these things. And we also kind of went over something defensive, but it's also kind of offensive, the kind of spots that you want to play. But now we're going to talk about rotating, which is basically, say that I'm at 1, and, usually there's only one person at 1 on this map. I'm at 1, my teammates at 2 are either 1 to rotate. Rotating, let me get to rotating first. Rotating is just going from one site to the other site. Me going from 1 to 2. How could that be so hard? Well, there's a few things. Say that I'm not paying attention and I just think, okay, they're coming to, and then I rotate, right? And I get all the way over to 2. And it turns out that there was only one guy at 2, and then that they were actually at 1. Well, then there's nobody at 1 and 1 gets taken. So rotating can have a lot of problems like that, where if you don't do it right, you end up rotating. The point of rotating is to help your team by trying to get to the site and not letting the enemy plant the bomb. You're trying to get there before they plant it, right? So you're gonna ruin that if you rotate without knowing for sure that they're there. So that's the first thing you need to know about rotating too, is basically be aware of the callouts. Know if there was 3 enemies at 2, if there was 4 enemies at 2, or all 5 were there. How many of them are dead? How many of them are alive? How many of your teammates are alive? How many teammates are dead? Where your teammates are? If you should rotate, and when you do rotate. Wait. Look at this. This is really weird. Look, the white thing moves, but the trees don't. Alright. Well, anyway, when you rotate, you have to be aware, where they are and where they're not. Because say that, my teammate's on backstairs. There's only one teammate backstairs, and there's 3 enemies left, and I'm the only other teammate. Well, then if I just rotate over and I'm not paying attention, and there's an enemy over here, boom, I'm dead. But if, say I have a teammate who I know is right here, well, if he's the only teammate left, then that means when I rotate, I don't need to be looking over here. I could kill from somebody in the door. I need to be watching the door. So when you rotate, you need to make sure you know how many teammates there are, how many of the enemies there are. You need to know, basically where to look, and you have to be paying attention. The other thing you need to know when you're rotating is if there was, say that there was only 4 people at 2, then you have to consider that maybe the enemy sniper, if you don't know where the sniper is like watching for your rotate. Or if you remember I said a slow playing about waiting for their rotate, I went over that. You have to be aware of people like that may be waiting for your rotation to pick you off, because then you can't rotate, right? They kill you. So you have to be aware of how many the enemies are, where they are, where your teammates are, their HP, their guns, like same thing as last time, and all those things. But also when you're rotating, you need to be aware of a few things. When you're rotating, it's good to throw a nade. Like, it depends. A lot of times it is good though, because say you're rotating and they're pushing in the 2. Okay, they're pushing in the 2 right now, and like my teammates called them out, they were all in gen, now they're pushing. Well, if they're pushing, this is a nade spot. I don't have the nade skills right now, so I can't show you what happens exactly, but you aim at this corner, you bring it up to this point here, so you bring it up to that height and you throw it. If I had rifle skills, this would it's not gonna hit this because I don't have rifle skills, but if I had rifle skills, I guess it did hit there. It hits right here, blows up the bridge, and it'll kill anybody right inside. So if they're rotating and they're not pushing in yet, then it'd be a great time for that nade. But let's say that I had a teammate backstairs and a teammate here, and they both died. My only other teammate is the one up here. Well, then for a couple of reasons I don't want to throw this nade, because I don't have a teammate covering here and here, so I could die. And as well, they're probably already in the site if both teammates died, so throwing this nade is too late. So you have to be aware of if you should nade, when you should nade, and things like this. The other thing you should know when you rotate is if you rotate in and your teammates are in the site, your job isn't just to rotate in and just be here as another defensive player and just hold the site. Your job is to hold the site, but it's also to help your teammates, because your teammate left, usually if you have 2 teammates, say you have 2 teammates at 2, the one backstairs died and your teammate's left over here. Well, then obviously they're probably coming in this door and your teammate's probably right here. Then maybe as his teammate you might want to watch this way, that way he doesn't get flanked, You want to help your teammate that's there out if possible. Especially if it's the other way around, that teammate died and your only live teammates over here, then you really want to make sure that you can help them by clearing, the inside of the site. You don't want to if you just come in and rotate and you don't help your teammate, it's not very useful. So basically, you're like a reinforcement. But to be a reinforcement, you have to be careful that you can't actually come and reinforce them and you don't die. And you need to be aware of the situation you're getting yourself into before you come as a reinforcement. If you just come in there like, hey, I'm another person here, tell me what to do once I get there, you're already too late. You have to know what you're doing before you get there. That's about it for rotating. I can't really think of anything else to say about it. But it's really an important skill, because to play defensively, this is a big strategic thing, is you can't put, you know, all 5 defensive players at 2 site. But as an offense, you can have all 5 offensive players rush 2. So the offense has a numbers advantage. I've went over this before in one of my earlier videos. But basically, it's a numbers game, right? They have a numbers advantage if they use it right. Well, if you can rotate quickly, you can somewhat dissipate their number advantage, because if you can get the people that were at middle and 1 over here before they can take the site, then they didn't use their numbers. They didn't get into the site. They didn't win because of their numbers. But if you rotate really slowly, like this person doesn't rotate and lets them kill everybody at the site before they rotate, and then they don't make it at time, well, then they use their numbers correctly. Sometimes you can't make it fast enough, but you have to try as hard as you can. And by the way, this is a specific thing about this map that doesn't really matter, but you remember how I said there was a sniper maybe right there watching for your rotate? If there is, this is another nade spot. It might work, I don't know, I don't have my rifle skills, I think. Go in this corner, see this little red thing, aim left, and then up to the top, like right there. Oops. And then you just run all the way up, and then you throw it, and it should hit back there. Yeah. A little bit to the right, though. I messed that one up a little. Here, watch. Yeah. But basically, that's the spot. I mean, it's just a map-specific thing, but I figure I might as well put it in there. There's a sniper over here, you know, watching for your rotate. You want to go over here, aim in the middle. No, you want to go over here and aim at this, actually. And then take your crosshair up from this. I think it's like this. Run, jump it over. Ah. I haven't done this one in a while. Hold on. Here. Aim it. Run, jump it. Don't be a sissy like I was. But yeah, basically you need to know some nade spots. I mean, it's a good idea for, you know, picking off people waiting for your rotate, picking off people when you rotate over. Nade spots are useful for a variety of things, but those are just some map specific things. But this is pretty much the video on rotating. Next up, I'm going to do a video on communication, and then I'm planning, hopefully I get around to this, and starting a new video series about, you know, Savvy's tactical workshop, which is basically, these are all big concepts for rotating, pushing, you know, slow playing. They're not, like the grenades I just did are map specific tips. I'm doing a series map specific tips where I show all the nade spots and all the wall spots in the map. I'm doing a general thing about pushing, you know, slow playing, things that apply to all the maps, which are, you know, ideas, concepts. But then I'm also going to do Savvy's tactical workshop, which is like things that apply in all the maps but aren't ideas, like your aim, peeking, when you peek, your timing, using radar, you know, looking at when you reload. Like some people, this is gonna be a little like a preview, but you know how sometimes people will just reload, they'll just walk behind and reload like this, and then they're open where enemies can come and get them like this. Well, when you reload, really you should be running away so they can't see you, or, you know, reloading and then watching and waiting for the enemy. That way, you know, if they come and they peek, you run back, but then you know they're there, and then you peek out and reload. I mean, I'm not going to tell you because it's going to be a different video, but that's a preview of what it's going to be about. It's small things like that. It's probably shorter videos, but more to the point, smaller activities, individual things, not big ideas. So that's going to be the idea. Is so like a beginner, somebody new to AVA, maybe even new to FPS games, can watch these videos and understand how the big concepts works. These videos are really useful for clans in general, because clans, you know, you need to do the thing with clans, whereas in public people might not be good enough to do these kind of strategies. And then the tactical workshop is something you can improve in your individual gameplay that'll help yourself even in public games and stuff like that. And then the map tips are things that you can apply really effectively to clan wars, but also to pubs. So I'm running through all these things. I'm also hopefully going to put up some clan war gameplay and maybe some annihilation gameplay and such as this in the future. If you want any kind of specific tip video or any kind of trick video or montage or anything weird like that, just put it in the comment and I can probably do it. I mean, I just don't, editing montages takes too long, so I mean, I don't really want to go through all that. But yeah, that's all for rotating. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.